Hey guys, I'm Doctor McFarland, and it is Tuesday. It is the last Tuesday of 2024. I can't believe it. And it's been a crazy year, and nothing too crazy has gone on, actually, but it's just been very busy, very fulfilling, just very busy. So, y'all come on in, bring some questions, some really good questions. I'm actually going to go back through some of my recent uh, comments on my videos here. That might be a good way to kind of get some questions going. If you have any that you want to think of or that you've had burning in your heart for a long time, then go ahead and share those in the comment and reactions or in the chat box over there, and we can get to those. But otherwise, we'll talk about some things that are coming up in 2025, and just have some fun playing some guitar. I was born in Alabama, and we'll just go with that. So I have the Tonemaster Pro here in front of me. I also have the Headrush Flex Prime off to my left that I do not have plugged into my interface at the moment, though I can get that going. And I do need to finish my back catalog of the last 2 months of HTS rigs, which I've been behind on for some reason. I've just been watching too much basketball, I guess. And I'll get that updated probably tonight, so that way I won't have anything else going on for that. And then I have so many goals here that I didn't really get to in 2024, but maybe in 2025 I'll finally get to some of those goals of completing some courses on my website, continue my teaching of music theory, about gear, all things that just are stuck in my head I've had for years. I want to help get out into the world and help educate more fellow musicians on how music works, how to apply that music theory as a language to any instrument that you want, and then therefore maybe go buy some gear and make some loud rocking noises through your amplifiers and digital maulers and recording interfaces and whatever else you want to do this year. So whether you want to make more music, whether you want to learn how to play an instrument, whether you've been playing for decades but you're now stuck in this new modern era of digital maulers and amps that don't have tubes and all the stuff, I'm sure you have questions, because I see questions literally every day of just the most basic questions that I think someone should know. And I have to stop myself and realize that, let me get my microphone closer here. I have to stop myself and realize that there is literally a new beginner recording artist, guitar player, bass player, drummer. Just there's someone new every day that knows absolutely nothing about anything music or gear related stuff. So when I see very basic questions online, whether that's on the Facebook groups or online forums or on comments on other people's channels that I watch, I'm just like, yeah, how would they know unless someone teaches them what to do and what these answers are? So that's, people like me and people like whoever else on the internet that take it upon themselves to be a teacher of not only, music and gear, but just teacher of everything in life and my personal experiences that I've had, and try to share those with the next generation. Whether you're a 70-year-old just learning to play guitar, or whether you're a teenager learning to play guitar, and you've caught the bug of, man, I want to learn everything on how to play, on how to use the gear, on how to record, not only myself, but maybe a band that I'm starting or I'm joining, or, in every band, there's somebody over the decades, somebody in a band has had like a 4-track reel-to-reel recorder or a cassette recorder or a mom's computer with a basic interface and Reaper downloaded or something. We all have to start from somewhere. We all have our own personal journeys that we've had to trudge through the trenches and learn all this stuff, and hopefully make music somehow in this crazy world. So yeah, that's what the whole goal of my channel is, Doctor McFarland Studios. I basically make video manuals, video tutorials on recording gear, recording software, which is how I got my Harrison mix bus job, because I started a Harrison mix bus video manual on my own personal page, and then an opportunity came up to do customer support for Harrison and also make videos for the Harrison channel and not just my own channel. So that led to a full-time job that I am very thankful for. And some days I want to pull my hair out, but as you can see, I don't have any hair. So that gets harder and harder every day, honestly. I could probably pull some hair out on my face, pull some beard hair or something. But yeah, it's a very fun job. I just have to learn to step back, be patient with people, and just realize that nobody knows everything. I don't even know everything. And I'm always learning new ways to approach the problem of people. Like it's a people problem. How can we deal with people and their attitudes and ways of communicating, and just being patient enough to step back and realize I don't know everything, and I'm just here to help, folks. So y'all come on in, leave some comments, ask some questions, and we will have some fun today talking about some goals and talking about some gear. So we do have some Dwight Bailey in the house. What's up, man? I hope you have a great new year. We're going to go to a party tonight sometime with somebody and probably eat some food and way too much sugar and whatever. I have done really well this week. I've cut down on a lot of the sugar that I eat. I've actually worked out for, what is it? What's today? I probably worked out 3 times so far in the last 4 days. So I think I skipped yesterday because I just was busy and whatever else. But I've been trying to get on the treadmill for at least 30 minutes, if not 20 minutes, and then do about 10 minutes of push-ups or kettlebell swings or just some kind of workout. Trying to get my body in shape. This 44-year-old body that's not getting any younger. And just trying to lose some weight and just trying to take better care of myself and all the things that people try to do at the new year. But I've been trying to do it for really all year. And I go through different spurts of doing really well with not eating as much junk and try to, stay on the low carb, high protein, high fat kind of diet, and just all the stuff that you see online. So anyway, that's my own personal demons and issues I'm dealing with, but it could be worse. I could be dying of cancer or whatever. And if that's you out there and you're still breathing and you want to learn how to do music, then, as long as you're breathing, you can do pretty much anything that you want. Okay. So, yeah, my mom's diabetic, and I know other people that are diabetic, and it's not an easy road to travel on. So I feel your pain, Dwight. I think pre-diabetes runs in my family. So I have family members that are trying to cut down on the sugar and the carbs and all that. So got to get sugar-free cookies, but they cost about twice as much as regular cookies. Yeah, I know. Well, this is what I'm trying to do. And I've been doing it for about 2 years off and on. I'm not perfect at it. I'm really doing the carnivore diet, if you want to call it a diet. And it basically just says beef, butter, bacon, and eggs. And any food that's not within those 4 categories of beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, you're not eating, right? So forget cookies, forget brownies, forget, ice cream, forget all the sugary snacks, like Little Debbie's, whatever else that we like to eat. if it's not beef, butter, bacon, and eggs, then I'm trying not to eat it. But, we'll have pasta night and we'll have hamburgers, which is, part of beef. We'll have other Taco Tuesday. Obviously, we'll have tacos, and which consists of some kind of meat, chicken, rice, beans, stuff like that. So I know rice is not within those 4 categories, but it's not as bad as eating a cookie or a brownie or something. So I just have to be selective on what I'm tempted to eat on a daily basis. Zachy Lee, man, what's up, dude? And Kiyoki is in the house. Aloha. I don't know how to say the other stuff. Ao Oli Makiki How. Sure. If you say so, man. If you say so. I'm right there with you, brother. So, let's see if I can find... See what I can find here. I'm going to make this window nice and small. And let's go through some comments. Okay, let's go through some recent comments on my channel here. So recently I made a video on the Headrush Flex Prime and how to add a bank AB switch to one of the 3 switches. So we have 3 switches on the Flex Prime. And if you add an AB switch, that means one of them is taken up. But that also means you can switch to another bank and access 3 more switches. But in order to get back to the original bank, you have to use up one of those switches on the second bank. So basically you have 2 banks, but you have to use up one of the switches on both banks just to get back and forth. So you really technically have 4 switches to choose from between the 2 different banks. And that means you also have 8 different scenes that you could call up on the Flex Prime, which is a nice upgrade from the MX5, which I know is a sore subject for some people in the headrush community. But that's just the way it is, and life goes on, and 2025 will be just fine. It'll either be another year of disappointments or it'll be a year of surprises. Who knows? I have requested from Zounds.com, which is my official affiliate partner. If you want to check the links in the description, and the next time you go purchase anything through Zounds, preferably Zounds, because I get a higher commission from them, just click to my link, and then if you were going to buy a pack of strings or some drumsticks or a new guitar or maybe a new headrush unit, maybe a new Fender Toemaster Pro, or maybe a Fender FR speaker, or just anything that you would want to get, maybe a little keyboard thing that you can control or play notes into a recording software, just whatever you're doing. Anything you buy through that link, I get a commission from that. So I do appreciate the extra support doing something that you were going to buy anyway, just by clicking through my link. And that helps both of us out. So this is a nice comment here. Let me go and show this. See if I can show this here. Yeah, that works pretty good. So I learned more from 2 of your videos other than from other 1,000 I saw. Thank you very much. So that was in response to the Pedal Show Deluxe gain trick. And essentially what that is, you can do this with a analog setup or with a digital setup. But it's basically saying, okay, I'm going to crank up an amplifier and then add or insert a boost pedal before the amp. But the kicker is you're actually you're going to turn down the gain on that pedal. And this could be an EQ pedal, it can be an actual boost pedal, anything that has a normal volume that you can actually lower the volume and or raise the volume. Anything like that would work. So when you reduce the volume to the front end of the amp, you are having less gain, and therefore that cranked gain sound that you had on the amp is now more of a clean sound. So let's just say I kick in an EQ pedal with the gain down. Now I'm able to clean up the amp and essentially have a clean tone. And then when I bypass the pedal, it goes back into the normal volume into the amp, and I'm getting more gain once again. So it's just a cool trick to, I did this with the EQ pedal in the video, I think, but you can do this with all kinds of other stuff, and it just works really well. That's a headrush video, a headrush thing I need to worry about. Okay, let's talk about this one. This is actually pretty good. So this is what you can do with an amplifier, okay? And not every amplifier has this, but the vast majority of modern amps these days have an effects loop, okay? So what you can do with an effects loop on the amp is obviously do a 4-cable method, which means you go guitar into the first input of a pedal or digital mauler, and then the output of your last pedal that you want to go into the front end of your amp, or use the send on a digital mauler. You're creating like a little loop there between your guitar and the output of the pedal or the send of your digital mauler into the input of your amp. Okay, and then from the effects loop, you're taking a send from the effects loop into the return of or actually the input of your next pedal, which could be a delay, reverb, tremolo, whatever that is, whatever you want to put into the effects loop of your amp. So it can be kind of confusing because a return is actually another term for just an input. Okay. So you got a send from your mauler into the return. Sorry, the send from the amp into the return of your mauler, and then the output of your mauler to the return of your amp. So now you've made like a little loop over here and a little loop over here between your guitar and your first batch of pedals. And now that's the 4-cable method. Okay. In a digital mauler, you have to have an effects loop block in the chain. Otherwise, the unit does not know that you have anything plugged in to your effects loop on the mauler itself. Okay, so if there's nothing indicating that you have connected something to the effects loop, that means you're essentially going guitar into the input of your mauler, and then you're taking the send and going directly into the effects return of your amp. Okay, so therefore, if you're only using the effects return of your amp, you're technically bypassing the sorry, let me say that one again. Guitar into your pedals or your mauler, then the output of your mauler is going through the effects return of the amp. And when you do that, you're bypassing the preamp section of your amplifier, and all your tone knobs and all your special things on the amp are now bypassed. Well, that could be a good thing because now you have an amplifier that is only working as a power amp, and it has a built-in speaker as well. So instead of having a separate power amp pedal or device to use with your digital mauler, you could just use a regular amplifier and plug into the effects return on the amp, therefore bypassing the preamp. And this guy here, he's trying to ask the question of, could you elaborate a bit more on what the power amp in on a Boss Katana does? Does it bypass all the controls on the amp and only use a speaker? Yes, that is correct. Okay. So you're really getting two for the price of one here. You have a full-fledged amplifier that I could just go straight from my guitar to the input of the amp, and I would just be using the amp as a normal amplifier. Or I can utilize the amp just as a power amp and a speaker, and therefore bypassing the preamp section on the amp. And now, because I'm doing that, I'm now able to use a amplifier, a digital amp model on any digital mauler that you have, whether that's a Headrush, Tonemaster Pro, Helix, Fractal, Quad Cortex, Kemper, all the different maulers out there. Okay. And now you're basically saying, okay, I'm going to use a digital model of an amp, but let my physical amp be my power amp section and my speaker. Okay. So you don't, I don't say don't ever, but it's very rare that you'd want to send a digital mauler into the preamp or the input of a real amp, because now you're stacking the preamp sounds on top of each other, and it's not going to sound as authentic. It can sound decent depending on what you've chosen as the amp model, but it's not a typical way of what you would want to do to get the most clarity and the most pure sound from your mauler and the amp working together. Okay. Since you're also going through a speaker, you don't want to include I'm tired. The word has left me. In a speaker cab model. Sorry. You don't want to include a speaker cab model from the mauler, because now you'd be doubling up on the physical speaker sound, which could be a Vintage 30, could be a Greenback, could be a CS80, or whatever the other Celestion options are. And then whatever cab model you've chosen in your mauler. So you don't want to double up on the preamp, and you don't want to double up on the cab model. Okay, so if you're going into a real amp, you don't want to send those to the preamp, and you don't want to double up on the cab. So I've made multiple different videos on that one topic over the years. You can check my channel for more insight on that and fleshing out more examples. But that's just a quick walkthrough of, this guy is asking about the power amp in. Well, the Boss Katana does have, instead of using the effects return, it has a separate power amp input. So it's like you're plugging directly into the power amp section of the amp and not into the front input on the amplifier. Okay. So that's what that guy was talking about. And it's a good question, because people ask that kind of stuff all the time, and it's important to know the difference. Okay. People liking the Flex Prime, people commenting about my old video. It's a few years old. It was a Headrush 108 versus the Laney LFR. That's really not a fair comparison, because the 108 has an 8-inch speaker versus the Laney LFR, which is a 12-inch speaker, which I did end up selling yesterday. I sold my Laney LFR, and I basically just have the Fender FR12 over here as my main FR speaker. And I, in my personal and professional opinion, the Fender FR12 and the 10 are lighter. They're very cost effective, and they look like a real amp, and they're loud, and they just sound really good. So if you're looking for a great FR speaker for your Headrush, Tonemaster Pro, Kemper, Fractal, Helix, Quad Cortex, just whatever mauler you're using, the Fender FR speakers are really, really good. And they are in stock at Zounds.com. So if you want to click on my Zounds link down below and check them out and buy one, then you will, your money will be well spent. Okay. Let's check more of the comments here. More of the comments. Uh-oh. Venice, California. That's fun. Zach Lee, I don't have super clones yet, but I do have Headrush clones that I made that are for sale on my website. And I could easily go in and grab those clones and then make a super clone from those. But I have not personally gone through the process of making super clones. But the ones that come in the Flex Prime and the newer update, the 4.0 update, they're all really good. And they're a great starting point to try and explore super clones and all that those are. So, Andrew Collins, what's up, man? You can see I have the, if I can point in the right direction, you can see I have the Helix floor right there behind me on the floor. And yeah, it's good. The Helix is still a really good pedal. From Zounds, I have requested to get the GT1000 and the GX100. I have not really done, not really, I have not done any Boss content in a while, and I have not tried any Boss maulers other than the MS3, which is, it's more of like a HX Stomp. I mean, not a Stomp, but an HX Effects kind of deal. But in the Boss world, you have all the Boss effects in the MS3, but you don't have any amplifiers. So you have to pair that up with another amp or something else. And I like the Boss MS3. It was just kind of, it's not as user-friendly as some of the other modeling units out there. So I sold that off a few years ago, maybe like 2 years ago or so. But I am interested in trying the GT1000 and the GX100. And the GX100 also has a touchscreen that you can like kind of move things around. So it'd be interesting to try out and learn more about what the Boss options do and how those compare to what I currently have and what I'm used to using. So yeah. What's up with wireless guitar systems not compatible with active pickups? Some are and some are not. The new Fender wireless are compatible with active pickups. But other units that aren't, I'm not sure why they're not. I don't really know that answer. Yeah, I'm just not sure. Any MIDI content. MIDI content. For what? For Headrush? For what modeler? Let me know. There's some older videos I have on how to control the Blue Guitar Amp 1 via MIDI with a Headrush. But I'm sad to say that the Headrush is very limited as far as what you can control with MIDI. The Headrush itself can be controlled with an outside source, and it can receive CC messages and PC messages, but it can only send out PC messages and not a CC message, which might be a good thing to have. Which is why the Helix and the Toolmaster Pro can send out PC and CC messages. So at this point, I would say the Helix and Toolmaster Pro are the best options if you want to get a unit that has really great amps and effects, but also has the full gamut of MIDI options to send out to maybe an external amplifier, maybe control things in your DAW, or maybe a plug-in on your computer or something. So yeah, I would do that. So would you turn off the amp and cab on your mauler? That depends on what you're doing. Andrew, if you're using the 4-cable method, that means you are wanting to use the preamp on your amp. Okay? But what's cool about this, and I have an older video about doing this with the Blue Guitar Amp 1 and Headrush, is when you bypass the effects block in your signal chain on the digital mauler, that is essentially saying I'm going guitar into mauler, then the output of the mauler straight into the effects return on the amp, therefore bypassing the preamp section of the amp. So with that said, you can create snapshots or scenes or presets, however you want to do that, that says, okay, in this variation, I'm going to have the effects loop block turned on, and that means I'm using the preamp section of maybe my orange amplifier or my Soldano amp or Mesa Boogie Mark 5 or whatever it is, right? You're using the preamp section of your amp, which is very cool. And you can switch to that sound. And then you go to the next preset or scene or snapshot. You can say, okay, now I'm actually going to turn off the block, the effects loop block in my signal chain. And I'm going to use an actual model of an amp within the digital modeler. And you're bypassing the preamp section of the amp. So you can go ahead and have a model already called up in your signal chain. You can just have it bypassed. And when you go to that scene, preset, or snapshot, you can say, okay, I'm going to switch between effects loop block on and model off, which means I'm using the preamp section of my real amp. And then on the next preset or snapshot or scene, I'm going to turn the effects loop block off, therefore bypassing the preamp section of the amp, and I'm turning the amp model on. You can just do all that with just one hit of the switch, and it makes it very quick and seamless to utilize the preamp sounds on your actual amp and the digital models of, on your Toadmaster Pro or Helix or whatever you're doing. So it's pretty fun. This is a good experiment to try. If you actually have an amplifier that you like the preamp sound of, maybe it has a really good clean sound, but not a great overdrive sound or a distortion sound. So that means that you can use the clean sound of your amp with the effects loop block on. Then the next scene, preset, or snapshot, you can have the effects loop block turned off and go to any other dirty amp model that you have available. So right now I'm actually on a Blues Junior here on the Toadmaster Pro. And then if I click over, here's my Soldano. Okay. So those are two decent sounds that I could combine with an actual preamp of an amplifier and just kind of mix and match between actual preamp sounds versus digitally modeled amp models, and get the best of both worlds. So, and this guitar has a little bit of a hotter sound than some of my other guitars, so I'm going to turn the volume down on this. There we go. My clean pickup. I've been working on Pat Martino's linear expression. So we got stuff like right, stuff like that. So that's based on the 6 minor. Here's based on the 7. Right, you gotta swing it, boom, da ba doo ba da ba doo ba da ba doo ba da da. Right, then you go to the 3rd. Right, so we got the this minor 7, this minor 7, and then this minor 7, and go. Crap. I can do this. I can do it. I messed that up. And then we got the next one. I don't know why Pat Martino likes the, it's kind of an interesting line. Right, then we got the last one. And apparently you can mix and match those and move them around the fretboard and play them in different keys and whatever else. But, it is what it is. I use my Line 6 G30 wireless with my Harley Benton with Fishman Fluences installed. No problems at all. Sounds great. Yeah, and some wireless units work with both passive and active, but not all wireless units do that. Some are just passive only. Some can do passive and active. So it's just a matter of choosing the right product for the right job and not going on Amazon and buying the cheapest wireless unit there is, which you can do, and there's options for that. But sometimes if you want to get good quality that does a lot more, then you're gonna have to spend $100, $150 for a good wireless unit. I've been really wanting to try the Nuix wireless unit. Let me actually look that up. Let's go to oldzounds.com here. We're going to look up Nuix wireless. Let's see. Yeah, it's this one right here. So it's the B8. So it takes up some room on your board if you choose to do something like that. Let me show you what I'm looking at here. It takes up room on your board. Stuff like that. So you got this top part that you plug your cable into, and it kind of attaches to the top here. So that's how you charge it, which is actually kind of cool. If you don't have an actual board, then you may not want to do that. But it does have a DI out, which is kind of neat. I guess you would just plug that into your next option or your next pedal in line. See, it has an input there and a return output on the left side. What's on the right side? Anything? Cable tone on off, which is kind of neat. What's this side say? Output send. Okay, cool. Okay, so you could use that as an effects loop. And for something, I'm not sure what you want to do that with, but you do have an output, or you have an input there. And you have, wow, I'm messing this up. You have an output over there. Okay. That's $319. So it depends on if it's worth it to you. They do have a blemished option for $269, which is a pretty good deal. Let's look at the Boss wireless unit. I've seen somebody recently use one of these Boss units here, which is pretty cool. This is the WL20L wireless instrument system, flat response, no cable tone simulation. Nice. Okay. What's the difference? No bulky body pack, which is what the other thing kind of is. Just plug in the transmitter to guitar and the receiver into an amper pedal. This thing is the WL50. This is for your pedal board. So it's very similar to the Nuix. So this is your receiver on the board. Okay. And you plug that in to charge it. And then you take it out, plug it into your guitar. You have your Boss adapter there to power it. And there it is in there. So it's actually a little bit smaller. It's probably about the same size as a tuner pedal. But this doesn't have a tuner built in. The Nuix does. So for $229, we have that. And yeah, I mean, it looks pretty nice. But that's what that is. So that was $229. And that's $269 blemished. And it has a tuner built in, which is nice. So, but there's one more. There's another Boss. If I can type. Boss Wireless. What am I looking at here? Okay, this is an actual body pack. Low latency, high dynamic range, preserving your guitar's natural attack and sustain. Bada bing. Okay. I'm thinking of the Shure. I'm thinking of the Shure one. And Kyoki's saying what? Line 6 G30. Line 6 G30. This is what I was thinking of. This has the tuner on it. This is the in and out, the body pack. But it's $500. So, you know, if you think it's worth $500, it does have a dual band 2.4 versus 5.8 gigahertz. Let's look at the Line 6 G30 wireless. Zams may not carry it. No, it does. Okay, look. There it is. 229. It's a 2.4 gigahertz. It has the pack on it. Doesn't have a tuner, it looks like. So no tuner on that. Break free from your amp and pedal board or rock out without tripping over your cable with a low profile relay G30 digital wireless guitar system. 24-bit digital signal. Bada bing. This guy says it's amazing. All the way back in 2010. Wow. That's an old review. So yeah, there you go. These are all the ones I recently viewed right here. So we got $229 for the Line 6, $500 for the Shure, $294 for the Boss WL60, $319 or $269 depending on if you want it blemished for the new XB8, and the WL50, which doesn't have the body pack. It has more of a straight plug type thing. It just depends on what your budget is and what you're wanting to do. I don't. I have recently made a pedal board out of the direct amp from Coulter and an HX Effects. So if I wanted to add a wireless unit to that, I technically could, because I have an open spot where my Altoids box is. I could just plug in something different. But yeah, it's an option if I wanted to do something like that. But I don't know if I want to spend right now. I don't know if I want to spend any money on a wireless unit just for what I do. I don't require anything wireless. If I was playing live and on stage night after night, and I wanted the freedom to kind of move around on stage and in the crowd, then yes, I would invest in a good wireless unit. But for what I do personally, it's just not something that's needed right away at all. So let me go here. All right, so I've not figured out how to use super clones to its full potential. Maybe do a tutorial, or did I miss it? So I stay with my older tried and true patches on my HR with fave clones from Sonic the NDA. Yeah. So technically, you have to download the amp cloner software in order to do the super clones from the Headrush website. So what you do, you can do this with Greg's clones, or you can make your own clones, whatever you want. But essentially, you go into the clone software, and I'll make a video on this pretty soon. I just haven't got around to it yet. It's not something that's really my main focus right now. But take your clones that you have, or clones from my website. I have multiple different clones on my website. That's a one-time fee, and I'll add more clones as I get them done. Take those clones, drag them into the amp cloner software, and you can reorder them and basically say, okay, at 0 gain, I have this clone. Then as I raise the gain, up a little bit, it's going to start turning into the next clone that I have. And then as I raise the gain even more, it's going to start morphing into the next clone. And then the highest gain can be this full balls to the wall, whatever. And the cool thing is they don't have to be from the same amp. They can be, you can start off with a Vox amp, raise the gain, go into a Fender, raise the gain, go into a Marshall, raise the gain, go into a Mezzo Boogie or something, right? And then from there, you can make block presets of each gain setting and then switch those via scenes. So now scene 1 can be your clean with the Vox, and scene 2 can be your slight breakup with the Fender, and scene 3 can be your rhythm sound with the Marshall, and then your scene 4 can be your full-on lead sound with the Mezzo Boogie, all through the same amp block, just by changing the gain parameter on that super clone. It's actually very, very cool. And that's what I'm doing on one of my rigs that I have on the HTS Rigs course on my website. I've taken the Bogner super clone that came with the Headrush 4.0 update, which you have to have a prime, a core, or a flex prime to use. And basically, I'm going from a clean rhythm to lead, all from the same amp block, and it's pretty amazing. So, unfortunately, I do not have this thing plugged in, but let me plug this in real fast, and I'll show you. Yeah, so if you go back to November and watch my HTS Rigs live stream, I demonstrate how that is set up. But I would like to keep my Flex Prime right here on my desk at all times, so I'm gonna wire it up properly when I can. But I'm just gonna do this for now. So let me go with a orange and yellow cable on this one, and I'm basically just plugging into my audio interface here. That's how you guys are hearing everything on your end. What am I doing? Orange and yellow. Yeah, orange and yellow. So I'm taking my cables, plugging them in like so. Bada bing. I'm going to take my cable out of the Toemaster Pro. Run this over here. Let's do this. Okay, so now I'm going through my Flex Prime. Okay. And let me pull up the editor right here. So this is called Headrush FlexPrime.local. Maybe it'll pull up. Yep, there it is. So there's the Flex Prime. I'll move this over a little bit so we can kind of see what's going on. Let me find my rig here. Okay, what set list am I in? HTS Rigs. Okay, there we are. Rig list. Let's put them in here. All right, we'll save that. All right, so here's my super clones. Sorry for the lag here. Kiyoki says, can get used to G30s for about 130. Oh, yeah, you can get them used. Yep. Does have cable tone. Hey, man, what's up? Welcome to the channel. This Kiesel right here, and I'll get back to Kiyoki's question. The Kiesel is, I've got bitten by the Kiesel bug since February of 2023. So for almost 2 years now, I've learned about Kiesels, and I have ordered lots of Kiesels against my better judgment. And I mean, they're great guitars, but they're just very expensive. So, but yeah, this is a DC 600. It's a great guitar. Also have a whole row of Kiesels over here and back there and in my attic that I'm just trying to store somewhere. But yeah, it's a great guitar. It is Imperial. It's in the Imperial purple color with a flame maple top and a, if I can spin it around, we got the let me turn that down. We got the walnut body with a 5-ply maple walnut neck. So very nice hue in the different lighting, and it's just a great guitar overall. So this does have beryllium pickups in it. So any questions that you have about Kiesels, I'm more than happy to help answer anything about whatever I have. And yeah, they are definitely worth the money. But when you do order one, you need to try and get one that you're going to potentially want to keep, because the resale value are not that great, because they are a totally custom guitar. And when you buy something that's customized to your liking, not everyone is going to like exactly what you like. So therefore, when you try to sell it, you're not going to get the same amount of money that you paid for it, because nobody wants your specs, right? They would rather just wait 3 months and order something themselves with their own personal specs. So that's kind of the trade-off with anything custom guitar related is, yeah, you buy something that you want, but then when you don't want it anymore and you want to sell it, it may not have the same value as a Gibson or a Fender or something like that. So that's the deal with Kiesel. What's up, Ogolapix? Yeah, man, thanks for watching. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to talk about some super clones real fast for Kiyoki here. So what the super clone is doing is this. If I click on the super clone amp, you can see, let me go here. So I've switched to my clean sound, and I have the preset called Doc Shiva Low. So that means the gain is relatively low. The mid, presence, bass, treble are about in the middle, and the master is up a little bit. So here's my clean sound. Okay. When I go to my dirt sound, my blue dirt sound, on my hardware sign here, I have, you can see I have, so my yellow is my clean, my orange is my clean but trim. Okay, my blue is my rhythm sound. And then my red is my full-on lead sound. You can see on that red scene, I have the Doc Shiva high. So I have a high, low, and a mid preset already made for that amp block, and I'm just calling up those presets for each scene that I call up. So So essentially that's what a super clone is doing, is just taking multiple different clones and you're combining them together to make a super clone. Now you could take, let's go ahead and make a new, let's make a new preset here. Okay. Just for fun. Let's make a straight path. Let's go in and add a clone. Okay. So this 1 amp clone, let's go from head rush. It'll be an amp and a cab. Let's do a Brit 800 mod. Okay. So this one clone has an amp and a cab already built in. Okay, so that could be. Okay. That could be your heavy sound. Then I'm going to bypass this. And let's go add another clone. Amp and cab. And we could go to a divided by 13 amp. Okay. Let's go and let's clean up the gain here. Let's turn up the master a little bit. Okay, so it's already pretty dirty. And just by turning down the gain, you're not really cleaning it up all that much. So you would have to find an actual clean clone to use, and now you can see that I'm out of clones, right? So if I went back to this other one here, and let's go to preset. Actually, this one. Let's go to the Silver Vibe 8. That should be pretty clean. Turn on. All right, so I'm really going to have to download the software for this and get that figured out. And actually go through the process of making a super clone. But there's a few other channels on YouTube that's already done that video for you. So I can make one, but there's already people doing it. So it's not like it's a secret or anything. You just have to go into the software, drag and drop your clones into it, and then start making a super clone, and that's how you do it. So, I did go through, I did make a video on how many amps you can have in one preset. And essentially it says you can have 2 headrush amps, 1 revolver amp. You can have 2 amp clones, and then you can actually have like multiple different super clones. So really totaling like 7 amp or 7 amp blocks within a preset. And then since you can do, 2 blocks or 2 amps per block, doing this ×2 thing, the switch doubling, which is cool. Now you can technically have 14 totally different amplifiers in a preset, which I don't know why you'd want to do that, but you can. The option is there. And I just don't want to do that. So I do like some of the revolver stuff, like the PV Classic 30. But I need to go in and add a cab. Headrush did add a bunch of IRs here. So let's do like a 1x12 Morgan with a high cut mix, a gain, and a low cut, which is cool. And this thing does have reverb built in. Okay, so we have our normal volume here. And then we do have a block gain, and EQ, which is kind of neat. It's not exactly what I was hoping for, but it's something. So here lately, I've really been honing in on just basic setups. Like a blues driver is really nice. Yeah, let's just go with the blues driver on this one. And just like turn down the gain. Turn up my head rush here. It's really one of the reasons why I'm learning the Pat Martino stuff. And let's see what this text message is here. The Pat Martino stuff, learn some other jazz things, some other blues things. Is I don't want to have the Mahler do all the work all the time. Okay. I want to actually have some chops to back up all these amazing tones that I'm able to get. And if I'm just playing like, that kind of like rock stuff all the time, the easy chord progressions, it's not very fun to listen to. If you watch like Leon Todd or John Nathan Cordy or any of the other YouTubers out there that play guitar, they're very entertaining to watch, not only for their gear content, but actually just playing the guitar in general. It's just that's why people really watch their videos. It's not just because Leon Todd makes great fractal videos, but he's an amazing player that also is inspiring to watch and try to mimic and whatever else. So I'm trying to get better at, even though I've technically been playing for 30 years on guitar. I've been playing music for longer than that. Been playing music for about almost 40 years. I started taking piano lessons around 5 or 6. So probably like 39, 40 years I've been playing music. But I started playing guitar 30 years ago. And I'm a pretty decent guitar player. I can do what I do, but there's always room for improvement. So that's what I'm going to be doing here in 2025 is just dive deeper into my guitar books, learn more country, learn more jazz, learn more, maybe some legato style playing. I might go and subscribe to John Nathan Cordy's Patreon or something for a month and just get some nice tabs to work on for that. So that way when I'm playing here in my live streams or in a pre-made video, I'm not boring you guys to death with the same old bluesy licks and dad rock chord progressions and whatever else. So anyway, it's just a personal goal of mine. But yeah, that's the way it is. Deb Web Hub, I'm going to change my guitar just for you real fast so you can see another option here. All right, so this is what I would call, this is what Kiesel calls their CT6, which is a carved top, and it is very reminiscent of, reminiscent of a PRS guitar, right? So a California carved top. It does not have the birdies on the inlays, but is essentially a PRS guitar. If you look at the body style and the wings and the shape and all that. The headstock is obviously different, but this thing right here, this is a gorgeous instrument, and I am very happy that I am playing something like this. So let's go here. Let's bypass the BD2. And let's go add back in that reverb on the PVM. Like that. It's a very springy reverb, if you ask me. But it's got, what pickups do these have? I feel like these are beryllium pickups. And you can also pull up the tone knob. And you can split the coil of the humbuckers. So now you got more of a tele style option. There's the neck. Back to the humbucker. Back to the middle with both humbuckers. And with the bridge with the humbucker. Alright, so there's that. Let's bypass this revolver head and let's go back to our amp clone, which is the Brit 800 mod. Okay, that might be a little loud. Let's turn that back down. Okay, that sounds halfway decent. Let's also go, let's just add one more. Let's add a headrush head. We'll go with I like the tread plate modern. All right, now one thing I've been harking on for a long time is the more gain you have, the less bass you need. So I'm going to turn down this bass. Okay, let's at the end of this here, let's add a little reverb. Let me show you what I'm doing on the screen. Bada bing. I'm adding some reverb here. We're going to add a hall reverb. We'll turn down the mix. And then we'll add some delay. And Bucket Brigade, Echo Light. I heard someone or saw someone complaining about the reverbs and delays on the headrush form. And I'm like, I don't know what you're hearing, but they sound fine to me. So let me turn that up a little bit. Let's go back. See what I'm doing. All right, great. So I actually have another CT6 from Kiesel. It's more of a sunbursty kind of look. But when I saw this on the website, I was like, I just really like this autumn. They call it an autumn burst. So it's just a very pretty, just overall pretty guitar. Let me show you one more, then I'll be done. I'll show you one more. All right, so this is my Les Paul inspired Black Beauty, if you will. So this is also a Kiesel. It's got a different headstock. So the strings actually go straight through the nut instead of, vamping out like it does on a Les Paul or a Epiphone or whatever, or Gibson or an Epiphone, or any other guitar that has a 3-on-3 or 3x3 headstock. It does have the big block inlays, which I, you know, obviously added to my custom build. And it has a 5-ply walnut maple option. So on this guitar here, this has the maple on the outside and the walnut on the inside, but this has the walnut on the outside and the maple on the inside, which is just same wood, just different feel and everything else. So, yeah, it's kind of neat. I think the body is still a mahogany body, possibly. It might just be an alder body. I don't remember. I have to look at the specs I made. But the finish on this, you can't really see, maybe. Yeah, you can't really see it, but the finish is a sparkle. It's like a metallic sparkle kind of deal. So in certain lighting, it kind of just pops out, which is kind of neat. Obviously, it's dark right now, but it's just a nice classic black color with gold hardware. And this would be something that I feel like if I wanted to sell, I could get a pretty decent resale value for, because it's not a crazy spec, but it's just nice and basic, and you know, it just looks classic. It has a nice classic look to it. So all right, so we're gonna have to go to a party here. So I'm gonna have to get off the stream. But thanks everyone for watching, for commenting, for asking your questions all throughout the year. I had another headrush purchased this morning for my website. It was the HTS headrush tone sculpting course, which goes through every single amp, cab, effect, microphone, just everything. So since we have this nice editor here on the screen, I do have a lot more videos to add to that course, because we've had a few more effects pop up, and also other things just be added to the headrush ecosystem. So I will be updating that here in the new year as time allows, as I allot more time to that, because I need to stop watching basketball. It's taking up too much of my time doing that, and instead of doing nothing. But yeah, I'll be updating the course. So everyone who's bought the headrush tone sculpting course or the bundle, will see all my new videos going over those new amp effects and whatever else. So I do appreciate everyone who has purchased something from my website. Anyone who has or will be clicking on my affiliate link in the description to go buy whatever you're going to buy anyway, preferably from Zounds.com. And yeah, I'll see you guys here probably at the end of the week with the new video. I have a lot of I've shot a lot of footage. I just haven't edited it yet. It's hard to say. And I'll get those videos edited and uploaded and scheduled out, so you can see some new stuff from me here in the next days and weeks and months. And yeah, have a safe new year, and feel free to reach out anytime with any questions that you have. Okay, I am Dr. McFarland. I will see you in the next video. Keep rocking. Derek, real fast, I have the Pat Martino PDF. I just looked up on Google. So I will, if you want to message me on my website, I will send you the files I have from that. But just look at Pat Martino Linear Expressions PDF. You'll find a free download for that on there. And just have fun. All right, guys. See you later.